I never expected my junior year of college to change everything I thought I knew about myself, but there I was, at 2 in the morning, staring at my ceiling in the dark, when I heard the softest knock on my bedroom door. My heart jumped, because Madison never came to my room this late. We'd been roommates since August, sharing a 2-bedroom apartment off campus, and we'd developed this comfortable rhythm where we respected each other's space. But something in that hesitant knock told me tonight was different. I sat up, pulling my blanket around my shoulders. "Come in," I said, keeping my voice low even though we were the only ones here. The door opened slowly, and there she stood in the doorway, backlit by the dim glow from the living room nightlight. Madison was wearing this oversized university sweatshirt that hung off one shoulder and sleep shorts, her blonde hair messy from tossing and turning. Even in the darkness, I could see the tension in her posture. "Hey," she whispered. "I'm sorry. I know it's late. I can't sleep." Something in my chest tightened. We'd been getting closer over the past few months, staying up late talking about everything from our childhoods to our dreams to our fears. She'd become my best friend without me even realizing it was happening. But lately, something had shifted. The way she'd linger when we hugged goodbye before classes, how our hands would brush when we cooked dinner together, and neither of us would pull away quite as quickly as we should. The way she looked at me sometimes when she thought I wasn't paying attention. "What's wrong?" I asked, patting the edge of my bed. She stepped inside, closing the door behind her, and the darkness felt suddenly intimate. "I don't know. My brain won't shut off. I've been lying there for hours just thinking and thinking, and She trailed off, wrapping her arms around herself. "This is going to sound weird. Try me." Madison moved closer to my bed, and I could see her face better now, my eyes adjusting to the low light. She looked vulnerable in a way I'd never seen before. "Would it be okay if I just lay here with you for a while? I think I just need to not be alone right now." My pulse quickened. This was crossing a line, wasn't it? But even as my mind raised that question, I was already pulling back my covers, making room. "Of course, come here." She slipped into my bed like she belonged there, and suddenly I was hyper-aware of everything. The warmth radiating from her body, the scent of her lavender shampoo, the way she settled onto her side facing me, her head on my extra pillow, close enough that I could feel her breath. "Thank you," she whispered. We lay there in silence for a moment, and I tried to calm my racing heart. This was just two friends comforting each other, right? Except I'd never felt this electric current with any of my other friends. I'd never stayed awake at night thinking about the way their laugh sounded or how their hand felt in mine. "What's been keeping you up?" I asked softly. Madison was quiet for so long I thought maybe she'd changed her mind about talking. Then she said, "Have you ever felt something you weren't supposed to feel? Like something that scared you because once you admitted it was real, everything would change?" My throat went dry. "Yeah," I managed. "Yeah, I have." "When did you know?" Her voice was barely audible. "That it was real, I mean." I thought about all those moments over the past months. The first time she'd grabbed my hand during a scary movie, and I'd felt that spark travel up my arm. The afternoon she'd fallen asleep on my shoulder during a study session, and I'd been terrified to move, wanting to freeze that moment forever. The night last week when we'd been a little drunk from a party and she'd told me I was the most important person in her life, and the way she'd looked at my lips when she said it. "I think I've known for a while," I admitted. I was just too scared to let myself believe it. Madison shifted slightly closer, and now there were only inches between us. "What are you scared of?" "Everything," I wanted to say. I was scared of ruining our friendship, scared of what it meant about my identity, about all the assumptions I'd made about myself, scared that maybe I was reading this all wrong and she was just being a good friend, and I was about to make everything awkward. But I was also tired of being scared. "I'm scared that you don't feel the same way," I whispered. Her intake of breath was sharp in the quiet room. "Alex." The way she said my name made something in my chest crack open. I've been lying awake in my room for weeks, trying to figure out what this feeling is, trying to convince myself it's just really intense friendship, or that I'm confused, or that it'll go away if I ignore it long enough. And my heart was pounding so hard I was sure she could hear it. It's not going away, and I don't think I want it to anymore. Her hand found mine under the covers, her fingers tentatively lacing through mine. That simple touch sent shivers through my entire body. I've never felt like this about anyone. Not any of the guys I dated, not anyone. Just you. I squeezed her hand, barely breathing. Me too. We lay there, hands clasped between us, and I felt like I was standing on the edge of something vast and terrifying and beautiful. Madison moved even closer until her forehead was almost touching mine. "Can I tell you something?" she asked. "Anything." That day last month when we went to the farmer's market and you were laughing at something the flower vendor said, and the sunlight was in your hair. I realized I wanted to kiss you so badly it physically hurt, and I've thought about it every single day since then. My breath caught. I remembered that day. I'd bought sunflowers, and Madison had teased me about being a walking cliché. We'd walked home with our arms full of fresh bread and vegetables, and she'd stolen bites of my apple turnover, and I'd thought, this is what happiness feels like. I wanted you to, I confessed. I kept hoping you would. Really? Her thumb traced circles on the back of my hand, and such a small gesture shouldn't have felt so intense, but every nerve ending in my body was on fire. Really? Madison, I took a shaky breath. I think about you all the time. When I wake up, I'm excited because I know I'll see you. When I'm in class, I'm distracted because I'm wondering what you're doing. At night, I lie here and wish... I couldn't finish the sentence. Wish what? Her voice was soft, encouraging. Wish that you were here. Like this. She made a small sound, something between a laugh and a sigh. I've been right down the hall, wanting the exact same thing, too afraid to cross that distance. You crossed it tonight. I couldn't take it anymore. I was lying there, and all I could think was that life's too short to spend it afraid. Too short to not tell you that when you smile at me, my whole day gets better. That I love watching you cook breakfast in the morning, singing off key to whatever's playing on your phone. That sometimes, when we're sitting on the couch watching TV, all I want to do is curl into your side and stay there forever. Tears pricked my eyes. Why didn't you say something sooner? Same reason you didn't, I guess. Fear, uncertainty, not wanting to lose you if I was wrong. She paused. Am I wrong? No. I brought our joined hands up between us, pressed them against my heart. You're not wrong, Madison. You're so far from wrong. So what do we do now? She asked, and I could hear the nervousness in her voice, the vulnerability. I'd spent so much of my life playing it safe, following the path that was expected, never coloring outside the lines. But lying here in the dark with this incredible woman who just laid her heart bare, I didn't want to be safe anymore. I wanted to be brave. Now, I said slowly, I think we stop being scared. We stop pretending this isn't happening. We let ourselves feel what we feel. And what do you feel? She was so close now that her words ghosted across my lips, like I've been waiting my whole life for this moment without even knowing it, like everything before this was just prologue. I reached up with my free hand, hesitantly brushing a strand of hair from her face. She leaned into my touch, her eyes fluttering closed. Like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. When she opened her eyes again, they were shining in the darkness. Can I kiss you? The question hung in the air between us, heavy with possibility and promise. This was it, the moment that would change everything, and I'd never been more certain of anything in my life. Please, I breathed. She closed the distance between us slowly, giving me every chance to pull away, but I didn't want to pull away. I tilted my face up to meet her, and when her lips finally touched mine, soft and questioning and perfect, something inside me clicked into place. The kiss was gentle at first, almost reverent. Her lips were softer than I'd imagined, and I'd imagined this more times than I wanted to admit. One of her hands came up to cup my face, her thumb stroking my cheek, and I made a small sound in the back of my throat that seemed to embolden her. The kiss deepened, became more certain, and I felt like I was falling and flying at the same time. When we finally pulled apart, both of us breathing hard, she rested her forehead against mine. "Oh," she said softly. "Yeah," I agreed, because words felt inadequate for what had just happened. "That was—" She laughed, and it was the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. I've been imagining that for so long, but the reality is so much better. I kissed her again, unable to help myself, and this time there was less hesitation, more hunger. Her fingers tangled in my hair, and I pulled her closer, eliminating any space between us. We fit together perfectly, her body curving into mine like we were two pieces of a puzzle that had finally found each other. When we broke apart this time, I was trembling. "I can't believe this is happening." "Are you okay?" Madison asked, concern flickering across her face. "We can slow down if this is too much." "No, I'm better than okay. I'm just overwhelmed, in the best possible way." I traced my fingers along her jawline, marveling that I was allowed to touch her like this now. "I keep waiting to wake up. If you're dreaming, then I am too." She pressed a kiss to my forehead, then my nose, then my lips again, soft and sweet. "And I never want to wake up." We settled back into the pillows, wrapped around each other now, no longer maintaining that careful distance. Her head was tucked under my chin, her arm draped across my waist, and I'd never felt so content. "What happens tomorrow?" I asked after a while. "When the sun comes up and we have to face the real world." Madison was quiet for a moment, her fingers drawing lazy patterns on my back. "Tomorrow we figure it out together. We take it one day at a time. We're probably going to be scared sometimes and confused, and we'll have to figure out how to navigate all of this. But Alex?" "Yeah?" "I've never been more sure of anything than I am of this. Of you. Of us." She tilted her head up to look at me, and even in the darkness I could see the certainty in her eyes. "Whatever comes next, I want to face it with you." I kissed the top of her head, breathing in the scent of her. "Together, then." "Together," she agreed. We lay there in comfortable silence, and I felt her body gradually relax against mine, her breathing evening out as sleep finally claimed her. I stayed awake a little longer, not wanting to miss a single second of this, of holding her, of knowing that everything had changed in the most beautiful way possible. Tomorrow we'd have to figure out what this meant. We'd have to decide if we were ready to tell people, to put a label on whatever this was, to navigate being roommates who were also more. There would be complications and challenges and moments of doubt, probably. But right now, none of that mattered. Right now, the woman I'd fallen for was asleep in my arms, and she felt the same way about me. Right now, I'd finally been brave enough to reach for what I wanted, and it had reached back. Right now, I was exactly where I belonged. I pressed one more soft kiss to her hair and let myself drift off to sleep, a smile on my face, her hand still clasped in mine. Whatever tomorrow brought, we'd face it together. And that was enough. That was everything.